Hey there, I just wanted to say, me and my friend are doing some street activism today, and we're actually doing something related. So we're here in solidarity, but we have a sign that might seem a bit provocative, but it's for the right reasons. So just want to set that context. We're here in solidarity for being anti-violence towards innocent parties. That's what we're here for. So respect what you're doing, and hope you have a great day. You sound great.
You ready?
The people behind me are here in solidarity with what's happening in Ukraine, and rightfully so. So I'm asking the question, is war and violence always bad?
In my eyes, yes.
Yeah. Why would you say so? I agree with that, by the way, but why would you say so? What do you think about the sign? Do you agree? Or?
I totally agree with it.
Why do you agree?
Because might does not make right. Just because someone has a bigger army does not mean their point is more valid.
Okay, interesting. So I feel the same. So I'm here essentially taking a stance of being anti-violence towards innocent parties. Okay. Would you say that you agree with that?
Yes, but define what an innocent party is.
Someone who hasn't done anything wrong to deserve the violence inflicted upon them.
Well, then I would agree with that.
Cool. So we're in agreement there. So you would agree then that you are against violence towards innocent parties?
Yeah, well, who would disagree with that statement?
Well. You would be surprised. So would you extend that to innocent parties if I said those innocent parties were animals?
Yeah, to a certain extent, you know what I mean? Like, it depends the situation. Like, if it's up to choose between a human and an animal, I'm obviously going to choose a human.
Say that again, sorry?
If I'm going to choose between a human and an animal, I'm going to choose a human. But, it depends the circumstance, of course.
Yeah, of course, that's a hypothetical situation where you wouldn't really be in that situation in the society that we live in.
Yes, yeah.
So you would be of the opinion then that violence towards innocent parties is morally unjustifiable?
Unjustifiable. Full stop.
Full stop. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. So let me ask you this. Would you say the same if those innocent parties were animals?
A what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all God's creatures.
100%.
Yeah.
Animals haven't started any wars as far as I remember, haven't dropped bombs on anybody.
No.
Yeah. So I'm glad we're on the same page. So from there, I would say to you, are you aware of what industries support unnecessary violence towards animals?
Well, no.
No? Can I shed some light?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so unnecessary violence inflicted upon animals in terms of what industries?
Oh, them killing hares and foxes and...
Hares and foxes, okay, so that is correct. You would have like blood sports essentially is what you're saying there.
Yep.
So that's one of them. You've got blood sports. You've got like say the leather industry, wearing animal skin.
Oh yes.
You've got the meat industry,
yes.
eating animals' flesh.
And the fur.
Yeah, and their fur. The dairy industry,
Yes.
forcibly impregnating animals, taking their babies away, stealing their milk, all that.
Yep.
So all those industries support unnecessary violence towards innocent parties,
That's right.
which you have said that you're in agreement with me is morally wrong. So the next question would be, what do you think that you could do to reduce your impact?
On cruelty to animals.
Yeah, cruelty to innocent parties.
I don't eat meat. And I don't eat chicken.
So chicken being the flesh of a dead bird. Yeah. You don't eat any dead animals or just birds?
Any dead animals?
Cow flesh?
No.
Pig flesh?
No.
Fish?
No.
Okay, interesting. How come, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a vegetarian.
Interesting, okay. Would you say that you're in agreement if said innocent parties were animals?
No.
Why not?
It's a means to... I think human life is more important than the life of animals. So even though I think some things are unfair and not nice or kind, feeding certain humans is more important than animals.
Yeah, so I'm not here to say that they deserve to be equated or that they are equal by any definition. There's obviously distinct differences, but I can counter that by saying for the likes of the people who I'm talking to, such as yourself in this present moment, you will probably not be in a situation day to day where you have to choose between the life of a human or the life of an animal. Would that be fair to say?
That's true.
So given that circumstance, and to kind of go back to where I'm coming from, innocent party, animals have done nothing wrong. to anyone. Animals have never started wars, never dropped bombs on anybody. But from the victim's perspective, like, how can we justify, you said their animals are a means to an end. So in a situation, I'm assuming you live in a similar setting to me, similar society, in a situation where we don't have to use animals at all anymore, and they don't have to be a means to an end, like, how would you justify?
I totally agree with you. I think that's like, I would manufacture meat in laboratories, for example. I think, like,
cell culture?
Yeah, like, I don't think it all has to be live animals. It's more the process is just not there yet. But I very much encourage it to be. So, like, I do eat predominantly vegetarian, the odd exception when I'm eating out. But
say that again?
With the odd exception when I'm eating out.
Okay, interesting.
I wouldn't want to pay 40 quid for a meal and just have vegetarian food, unfortunately.
No, me either.
It's not to say that the context isn't, and it's not to say I don't recognise the bad in it. But it's more a fact of life, isn't it? Life's unfair and changing, it's hard and slow, but it's getting there. If you look 10 years back or 10 before,
I agree.
The attitude towards animals and meat and food and culture,
it's definitely changing. And that
also, my friends are actually going to physically make.
Let me just leave you with this real quick, okay? So I'm not a vegetarian. I'm actually a vegan, and there's a massive difference. Vegetarian is a diet, veganism is a moral philosophy. Well, let me just give you my due diligence, and you can pass this on to your vegan friend. Veganism is a moral philosophy that seeks to avoid harm to animals as far as possible, where possible, obviously, in this society that we live in.
Can I ask you a question? Do you do drugs?
Wait. Let me answer that after. It's interesting. I want to know where that's going. But let me get to my point. You completely threw me there. I mean, no, it's cool. It's interesting. I've never quite had that rebuttal.
Because people do cocaine all the time, but practice veganism. Don't think about the human consequences in places like Peru or Colombia or Brazil.
I agree, right? I agree, and I would. No, man. Let me tell you what. Come here. Oh man, that guy. You will not believe how that guy closed that conversation off. And I guess the next question would be, are you aware of what industries? If I asked you what industries would pay for unnecessary violence toward animals, what would you think?
The meat industry, even war to a certain extent, because that does destroy habitats and everything. Oil,
for sure.
Giant, a lot of things. Even big internet companies with their data usage, destroying rainforests, deforestation, everything. Governments to a certain extent with their lack of climate change, just a ton of things. Oil companies, car companies, basically most companies.
I appreciate you have a wide range of consideration and awareness. That's beautiful. Right. Let me think then. So you basically agreed then that unnecessary violence towards innocent parties is wrong. And you're aware of the industries that support abuse to said innocent parties. What do you think that you can do about that?
Honestly, in this capitalist society, not a lot, because it's hard to get, because everything we're going to buy is going to be somehow funding something much, much worse than you can imagine.
So I agree to a degree, and the degree which I agree is to, if we look at the little bit that we can do, that is in that realm of possibility, what do you think that would translate into in terms of action that we could take to reduce suffering?
Buying local, because that's the only way you can really do anything.
So when it comes to innocent victims of violence, if you could elaborate on buying local, how do they connect?
Even if you're buying meat, then you should buy local, because it takes so much energy to take things across the planet, and that takes oil, which can disrupts animal life.
So I can see that you're talking about environmental impact there. I'm here essentially to talk about innocent victims of violence. So I think if we talk about environmental impact is important, of course, it's increasingly important, and time is always of the essence. But if this was any other form of injustice, say what's happening in Ukraine, the victim's perspective would come first, and the environmental consequences.
Oh shit, I need to go.
You need to go? You need to go? Right? No worries.
Thank you.
I mean, you can take the call and I can give you a minute. I just feel like we're having a great...
I have to go somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll give you the lowdown real quick then.
Right.
We're trying to... Animals are the world's most forgotten victims. In issues of war here, it's always the human beings who started it, always the human beings that come first. Animals are always the world's most forgotten victims. If you agree with me that unnecessary suffering is wrong, until the day that you embrace animal rights in the form of veganism, you'll knowingly be supporting unnecessarily
Did you support the
violence
Kiev
and
thing,
suffering.
though? The Kiev airlift of animals instead of humans. Did you support that then?
Do I support like taking animals out of the war zone? Is
The
that-
Kiev one, which got people, which didn't allow seats for people then. Did you support that?
Oh, are you talking about that guy who was a soldier and he was trying to evacuate animals?
yeah. And
So
that took away seats from actual people.
So that's actually incorrect. The truth of that, as what normally happens in aircraft, is animals get put in cargo. They didn't take up any seats for any human beings.
Right. Never mind, sorry.
But I would not support leaving any innocent victims behind in a war zone.
No.
But what I was just going to say is, if you have to go, I just wanted to leave you with the idea that, you know, if you believe in non-violence towards innocent parties, the little bit of difference that you can make in this world is, you know, giving animals their rights to life, the most basic thing, which is veganism.
Yeah.
And until you go vegan, you will be supporting violence and killing until that day, because veganism obviously, you know, is a moral philosophy which seeks to avoid, as far as possible, violence and suffering towards animals who are ultimately innocent and haven't done anything wrong.
Give it a think.
Can I give you a card? I have a card. You can check out some resources. I appreciate you stopping, man. And have a great day.
Right, you too.
Respect. Do you consume dairy or egg products?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I take an egg with my salad.
Yeah, I appreciate the honesty. That's what we're here for. Productive conversation. So, are you aware of the practices in those industries, what they do to animals?
Oh, I do.
And are you aware that...
Them chickens. I worked on a chicken farm.
Wow.
And from there, we chickens go into their houses. 8 weeks, they're on the table.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Not great.
Not great.
No.
So you're aware that you're essentially supporting something that you say that you're against?
What do you mean?
Humane?
What do you mean?
Oh, what I mean. So what I mean is, like, you have said to me that you're a vegetarian, that you consume dairy and egg products, but that you're also aware of there being an issue there.
Yes,
and I'm saying to you, just to feed back to that, you've essentially vocalized the contradiction in feeling, which is like,
yes, I understand that.
I am a consumer of the product that causes unnecessary suffering and violence.
Yes.
So, I mean, if I was to say to you, there's no necessary reason why you should continue to support those, and of which there are alternatives.
What's the alternative to an egg?
What's the well, I would say to you, why are you eating the egg for?
Well, it goes with a salad.
It goes with the salad. Is an egg the only thing that goes with a salad?
No, well, there are tomatoes.
Have you ever had chickpeas, roasted chickpeas?
No.
Cashews?
Yes.
Yeah. So other sources of protein, other sources of omegas, you know, the nutrients.
But I don't like them with a salad.
Well, that's fine. So if it comes down to...
Just the one thing, an egg.
No, that's fair enough. I used to eat eggs myself most mornings.
I don't take milk.
Yeah. Why do you not take milk?
Because I just don't.
No, but there must be a reason.
I don't like the way milk is done as well.
You don't like the way they make the milk? So you're aware then in the dairy industry that they forcibly impregnate the females,
Yes.
they take their babies away from them, and they
take
kill
their
the baby
baby-
boys?
Yes, they take their babies away far too soon.
Yep, 24 to 72 hours max.
Right, yep.
Yeah. And then they shoot the 99.9% of all the baby male calves because they don't have udders and don't produce milk.
The bull calves, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The dairy industry see them as a byproduct, and, you know, not too long into their early lives, they're murdered.
That's right.
Because they don't
Yes,
produce
I
milk.
understand that.
So-
Yes, that's why I don't take milk.
Eggs then, we have to get you on the eggs. So, do you ever think about what an egg really is, though?
It's an embryo, is it?
Interesting. That is a connotation which certainly comes to mind. An egg is the result of a chicken's cycle.
That's what yeah.
What other individuals do we know that releases an egg when they have a cycle?
A woman.
That's correct. Chickens, when we took them from the wild before we domesticated them and mass bred them and stuff, industrialized cruelty, they used to produce an egg like once a month, you know, something like that, as far as the literature goes. So it's essentially you're consuming the byproduct of a bird's menstrual cycle.
When you put it that way, yes.
So I'm here to take the blinders off and tell people the reality. But it's not only that.
Well, I'm going home now, and I'm not going to buy another egg.
Well, it's not only that, right? There's a victim involved in these choices, and that's essentially what it is. In the egg industry, chickens are they've been genetically modified to produce more eggs than they naturally would. I've seen chickens like not even make it to the slaughterhouse because their bones are so sucked of the calcium for the eggs that they produce in excess.
And we chicken herd. Well, I drove a bulldozer and I was making the sites ready for chicken. And the farmer used to go in every morning with a plastic bag
and suffocate them, round them up,
and he could have filled the bag with dead chicks.
In with the live one. Oh, you're talking about like the ones that died too soon in the process.
Yeah,
that certainly does happen.
Yeah,
and I guess you would be aware, just to sort of talk about eggs in a more general sense as well, the whole myth of free range.
Would I?
Because ultimately those free-range chickens still end up at a slaughterhouse, don't they?
No, they do. Those chickens never see daylight.
100%. 16,000 birds in a windowless shed is what you can call free-range.
I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yep.
Had to go and catch a train.
You're okay. So this is a mic. So we're out here recording, doing some street interviews.
Who are you for?
For animals. I'm for animals. Not part of an organisation, any political party or anything like that. I just have a YouTube channel. Animals don't have a voice. They can't speak up for themselves. You seem like a really great guy. You've obviously been around the block. You've seen a lot.
Indeed.
And all I would say is
don't eat eggs.
Until the day you stop eating eggs, animals will be abused and killed for your choices.
That is stuck up here now.
So, always think of those who can't speak up for themselves.
All the best.
Have a great day. Thank you.